Hey, what's up, guys? This is Brian Ellwood. This is part 5 of a 5-part training series where I have been teaching the entire process that I went through to stop trading my time for dollars and start doing what I really love with my time. I want this for you guys so bad. It is so nice not to have to set an alarm clock and to be able to spend more time with your family and to pursue your hobbies and to travel. And when you work, you get to work when you want, on what you want, from where you want, and all of that. That is what the new rich, or whatever you want to call it, rich in terms of lifestyle, people are doing. And you are no different. You can reach out and grab this lifestyle. You're not too stupid. You're not lacking the resources. You're just telling yourself that you are. So this whole 5-part training series was designed to break that down, because I'm telling you the story of how I faced the same challenges that you are facing and what I did to overcome those. Okay. And I'm just one of many, many, many stories who's done this. In today's episode, this is part 5 of a 5-part training series that I recently released to our email list. And I'm going to recap what we learned in parts 1 through 4. And at the end, I'm going to tell you about our group coaching that we do. We meet twice a week, every single week. It's super, super cheap, guys. It's like less than the price of a gym membership. And you can bug me as much as you want until you get all your questions answered. I do one-on-one coaching calls with one of you every Thursday. You just sign up for the list and eventually your turn comes up. You'll learn all about that on the episode, and I'll put the link to join in the show notes or in the the YouTube description, wherever you're watching. So look for that, and I'll see you guys on the other side of the episode. So here's the situation. You want to create passive income so that you no longer have to trade time for dollars, and you can actually spend each day doing what you love. You know real estate investing can do this for you, but there are a lot of different strategies, and most of them just end up creating another job for yourself. So, what is the fastest and simplest path to financial freedom? The one that guarantees you will reach your goal and get to live the lifestyle you've always dreamed of. That's the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Brian Ellwood, and welcome to the 12 Houses to Freedom podcast. What's up, guys? Brian Ellwood here. Welcome back to the 5th and final part of this training series. I really appreciate each and every one of you for being a part of this and watching this video, this whole series. It means a lot to me. I hope you've gotten value from it, and hope you've commented down below and let me know what your goals are, and let me know what questions you have. As you can see down below, I'm answering people's questions, and I want to help you as well. So in this video, first of all, I'm going to do a quick as possible recap of all the other videos, and then I'm going to make you guys an offer you can't refuse, okay? So please stay tuned to the end. I promise this will be the best offer you guys have ever seen, okay? Cool. So we're going to go through this as fast as possible to get to that part. Guys, why am I doing this training series? Deep down, I know personally that there is a world where you don't have to worry about bills anymore. You don't have to trade your time for dollars. You can truly create financial freedom for you and your family, so you can actually spend time with them, create memories, go on trips, and not waste your life working, doing something you hate. That is what we want to do at the end of the day. Financial freedom technically means the day your expenses are covered by your passive income, okay? But what it really means is no more living for the weekend, no more counting down the days until Friday and Saturday. Being there for your family and friends, and never having to trade time, which is your most precious asset for money, ever again. Guys, you're running out of time, okay? You have a limited amount of time on this earth. You don't have to trade it for money doing things you hate if you figure out how to make your money work for you, okay? That's the big why behind why we're doing this. Now, my name is Brian Ellwood. If you don't know me by now, I've been a real estate investor since about 2011. I've done lots of stuff: wholesaling, fix and flip, buy and hold. I retired at the age of 30. My passive income covered my expenses. And since then, I've been really passionate just about helping my students create passive income and freedom in their lives. I want what I have for everyone else, okay? So let's recap what we've gone over so far. In part 1, we covered my story, my purple book moment. When I worked at this grocery store and I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad in the bathroom, I had that light bulb moment, and I wanted passive income. When I got into real estate, though, guys, everyone said, okay, Brian, you're new, you've got to wholesale, right? And so I said, all right, it sounds like a low risk, low cost way to get started. So me and my business partner that I teamed up with did. And we kept that goal of passive income, the rich dad, poor dad thing, we kept it long term. Okay. But the wholesaling, very quickly, even though it paid some of my bills, it was not giving me the freedom I was after. I didn't have a real job, but I was now chained to this business I had created. I was working all day on marketing, going on appointments all week long. The phone would literally ring 40 times at dinner when the postcards would drop. So I was earning only active income, guys. My income was not passive. I couldn't go on vacation or my business would stop. And I wanted an automated business, okay, because everyone does. But what I learned is that even when I created that automated business, I was still the CEO, which was the hardest job, okay? We had like something like 10 employees. This is me fast forwarding over years of being in business. And we had people doing everything for us except being the CEO. And I was still working my butt off every single day. Somehow, this little ugly house changed everything. This thing came along at a point when I was just at rock bottom. I was frustrated. I was not living the life I wanted to live. I was still trading time for dollars in the wholesaling business, just grinding and working my butt off every day. And I decided that, hell or high water, I was going to buy this house somehow. Okay. And I figured out a way to buy this little ugly house in the ghetto. And that changed everything for me and my business partner, because once we fixed it up and renovated it, we were making a few $100 a month without lifting a finger. And then that is what changed our focus entirely. We realized this is what we should have been doing all along. And this is where our focus has to be going forward. So over the next 3 years, we aggressively focused on that. And because of our simple change in focus, we actually accumulated 24 total rental properties in that amount of time. And then we decided to split up because honestly, I was seeing, how good we were doing with rentals. And I said, I'm sick of wholesaling. I don't like it. I never really did. I don't want to do this anymore. And he wanted to do it going forward. So we split up and I got half the portfolio, which was 12 houses. Okay. And I had an aha moment because I ran the numbers on what those 12 houses were bringing in each month. It turns out they were netting about $4,000 a month, which at that time was just enough to cover my bills, guys. And that meant I never had to wholesale or flip houses or work for money, period, ever again. And that realization just slapped me across the face, like in a good way, because I had achieved that original goal that I had from the first time I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Okay. And this is over many years. Okay. I'm fast forwarding for you guys. So I had achieved that original goal where your passive income pays for all your bills so you don't have to work anymore, trade time for dollars, right? The funny part is it didn't come from wholesale deals, flips, or all those employees in the automated business. It really only came from one thing: cash flow rental properties, those 12 little ugly houses I had, guys, which took very little time for me to accumulate and hardly any time for me to manage. Okay. So, what I've learned in my career is that buy and hold is king. I realized that all I ever should have done was buy and hold. That's real investing. Flipping businesses at best are just higher paying jobs than the ones you may have now. And I could have taken a much faster path to freedom. Freedom meaning the actual lifestyle I wanted, where checks were hitting my mailbox each month without me having to do something I didn't like. Okay. So since then, I've grown my portfolio to close to 30 rentals. I'm buying a house every few months. Now my team is just a few people. It's much simpler and easier. It's cheap. I'm going to talk about that. And I've got time to focus on my real passion, which is teaching. That's one of the cool side benefits of this. Is you get to start a business based upon your passion, which you really wanted to do and you might have been putting off for many years like I was. I've also gone on lots of epic trips around Colorado, got my beard frozen in the mountain a couple times, all because the passive income pays my bills and I don't have to sit at my desk all the time working. So guys, buy and hold changed my life, hands down. So the question I have for you guys is, who do you want to be? Do you want to be a wholesaler who's constantly hustling to find leads, find buyers, find sellers, and put that all together? Do you want to be a fix and flipper who is dealing with expensive rehabs and lots of risk and hard money and needing to sell properties on tight deadlines and managing contractors? Or do you want to be this guy, Mr. Buy and Hold, who sits back and watches money come in without having to work? This is a really important pivotal question that you need to answer. It's really going to affect your journey, and you know which one I would choose. So in part two, we covered how I find good houses for 50K, even though I actually live in Denver, where a 3-bedroom house here is like $500,000, $600,000. Okay. The reason we covered that is because a lot of you are thinking, I'd like to buy rentals, but my market's too expensive or too competitive, right? I can't find any deals. That's the case for a lot of people. It's 2019, the market has peaked. When I first started buying rentals, guys, it was in Nashville, Tennessee, 2014. Everything was actually pretty cheap back then, and it wasn't like it was now. The getting was good. Okay, so I used to be able to find rentals almost anywhere in town. I could buy houses all day for 50K. They rented for 900 a month. So I was a genius, right? I used to think so, but it turns out I was just lucky with the timing. Soon everyone wanted a piece of that pie, and then fast forward a couple years later, things started to get really hard for me. I couldn't find any good deals, and my genius had run out. So I dealt with the same thing that everyone's dealing with now, where they're in these markets where the prices are too high and nothing makes sense as a rental. For a while, it shattered my confidence because I had thought I knew what I was doing. All of a sudden, I can't find any deals. And I just started to make up stories like, well, my hands are tied, guys, because my market's overheated. But I started looking around because I didn't want to give up just yet. And I did notice there was 10 other counties surrounding Davidson where I invested. They were all within about an hour from Nashville. And the prices there were still really low. There's a lot of houses like the one in this picture. But the problem was I didn't know those markets. I'd always invested in Nashville. I wasn't too familiar with those areas. I didn't know a good deal from a bad deal. And frankly, I was scared to invest there. So I started studying markets. I took a step back and I said, well, what makes a good rental market? What about Nashville made it a good market for rentals at one time? Okay. How can I identify other good markets so when one gets overpriced like mine was, I can move to another and always keep buying? I didn't want to have to sit on the sidelines like for years, every 6 years, and wait for things to keep cooling off. And I discovered that there are 5 pillars to a strong rental market that must be in place before you ever buy a property. Okay. First is rent to price ratio. How much does it rent for compared to what it costs? There has to be cash flow, so the prices can't be too high in relation to the rent. Second, there has to be a strong economy supported by multiple economic sectors. Third, the population size needs to be probably at least 100,000, depending on how close it is to other cities, and the population should be growing. There should be low vacancy rates there, less than 10% for sure. Closer to 5 to 6% means your rentals will be more occupied. And then real estate investor activity. Are there RIA groups? Are there other people investing? Are there people that you can use as local mentors to plug you in and give you referrals and all that kind of stuff? Really speeds things along, and it's a sign that it's a good market, period. So armed with that new knowledge, I identified a couple cities near Nashville that still met all those 5 pillars. So unlike Nashville, which no longer did because it was too expensive, right? So I learned those markets. I started looking for deals there, and it was like the floodgates reopened. Here's a deal I did just a couple of months ago in Columbia, Tennessee. It's 45 minutes from Nashville. I bought it for $35K, put 15 into it, and rented it out for $850. Okay, and look, right across the street, you got a brand new house. The house I bought is in the top picture on the left. There's a brand new house across the street. There's 2 more down the street from it. So this area is gentrifying and growing, just like Nashville used to. But I'm still getting a house for $50K all in, guys. That's a really good deal. And I had to be willing to look outside of my market to keep finding deals like this. And that's exactly what I learned, okay? Just because your market's overpriced or competitive and you can't make sense of rentals there, it doesn't mean you can't buy houses. Any market that has the 5 pillars is ripe for investing, guys. Investing virtually is where it's at. That's why my podcast is called the Virtual Real Estate Investing Podcast. Right now, it's never been harder to find deals, okay? But yet me and many others are still grabbing up these great deals every day. And the reason we're doing it is because we're willing to look in markets outside of our own original market, okay? Once you go virtual, you never go thirsty. And the reason for that is because the whole United States becomes your investing playground. You're not limited to your own backyard. You just identify markets that on paper make sense and you go invest there. Investing is a simple game of math, guys. It's not an emotional thing. Okay. This is Taylor C. Taylor C., after working with me, bought 5 rental properties his first year. He manages them all virtually. He goes to Florida for 3 months each year. He's got 80 grand in equity in his portfolio. And he's on the way to quitting his job for good and doing more stuff like that, grilling in his backyard. In part 3, we covered the number one reason most people fail to ever make their passive income, no matter how many houses they own. Okay. So a lot of people will actually get rentals and they'll have money coming in, but it won't actually be passive. A lot of people ask me, Brian, can you really invest virtually? How do you find deals? How do you do due diligence? Can you really manage contractors from afar? How do you manage the property to deal with the tenants? So we're going to answer all these questions, and I'm also going to show you at the same time how you have to set this up so that you don't fail and that you actually make your income passive. Okay, back to this little ugly house I bought. I'm going to tell you the story of how it went because I sort of breezed by this. Okay, it wasn't super easy. That is the real story. We needed to do a lot of work on this house, so we had to find a contractor for the job. And this guy needed babysitting big time. I learned later that that's common with all contractors. I had to total this guy's numbers for him, double check all his work, go over his invoices, I hold his hand. I actually ended up at that house every day for 4 weeks. That's the true story behind my first rental. I got nothing else done. It sucked. I didn't like any of the process and I was frustrated. I was like, if I have to do this every time, I may not want to be a real estate investor. And then as my portfolio grew, it got even worse, right? Just more and more properties that, I needed to rehab and manage the contractors. And it certainly was not passive. Okay. And that's a big problem because I keep preaching passive income, but I didn't have it at first. I was also drowning in all these little to-dos like P.O. box and going to the title company or the zoning office or the utility company or signing contracts and just running around town. I even tried property management. I found a tenant for this house, gave him my number. I remember thinking, this would be pretty easy. But that guy ended up blowing me up all hours of the day and night, wanting wanting me to, reimburse him for a part he bought for the toilet tank for $7 and all this stupid little stuff, right? That it was another job I was doing. So again, I did not have passive income when I first got into this. Even buying rentals was basically another job I had created for myself. And at that point, I'm like, when is this going to end? Is real estate really something that can make your life better? Or is it just a job you choose to do, right? So what I really wanted is I wanted to keep buying, but I wanted to be able to run the business from anywhere virtually. I definitely didn't want to be going in and out of houses anymore or any of that. And I only wanted to work 1 or 2 hours a week tops on growing and maintaining this portfolio. I wanted it to be passive, just like when you buy a stock and you watch it go up and down. That's really what I wanted for my rentals. So I took the same approach in this famous book, The E-Myth Revisited, and simply applied it to a rental portfolio. This book talks all about systemizing, delegating a business, right? So I applied that to a rental portfolio. The first hire I brought in was a project manager, your boots on the ground. That's the person who meets the contractors and the inspectors at the house, walks through it, takes their own pictures, videos, talks to you about it. And then when you buy it, they're over there like multiple days a week, taking pictures, videos, managing those contractors, making sure that the rehab is actually done right. And once I brought that person on, I never had to set foot in the house ever again, and I can do everything from the computer. Then I brought on a property manager, okay, to find my tenants, manage my tenants, handle all the repairs once it's occupied, take all those phone calls, emails, late night text, all that stuff. And then I was just getting statements each month, seeing how things went, which is passive. Like if the toilet broke, I didn't hear about it. The statement just said negative $120 toilet, right? So just like a stock, it goes up or down, but you don't have to do anything. And then I brought on an admin assistant. And that person attends closings to sign for me, pays the bills, organizes all my paperwork, communicates with the property managers for me. So I don't go to the bank, the title company, the P.O. box, anywhere else ever again. I don't talk directly to our accountant or our bookkeeper. right? I have someone to handle all those little bee stings. That's what we call them, the bee stings, right? The little things that pop up that will totally derail your day. If you're just reacting to them, putting out fires, you need someone to delegate to. So what's the cost of this team that I built? Well, the project manager, you only pay them 500 to 1500 bucks per renovation that you do at the end of the project, right? So they're a very much part-time as needed person. Property managers only get paid 10% of the rent when it comes in. And admin assistants you can get for 12 bucks an hour, and you can start them out at 3 to 5 hours a week even. So that's 35 to 50 bucks a month, 35 to $60 per week, okay? That's not a lot of money for you to delegate most of the stuff that's pissing you off that you don't want to do, okay? Another hire, quote unquote, that I made was wholesalers. I built a list of all the wholesalers in my area. I email them every week or two looking for deals, make offers, and give feedback no matter what. And I actually now find all my deals through wholesalers, and I even have my admin assistant do most of this and just filter only the good deals to me. So that's my simple and cheap and easy team. And with that team complete, my business literally did become 95% automated. I didn't need to be anywhere physically for it to run. And I tested this theory by moving all the way from Tennessee to Denver, where I now live. That's the first house we lived when we moved here. And now I run the business from anywhere, even the ski resort, doing what was once not possible. I went to Spain and got engaged a little over year and a half ago or so, and ran the business from the other side of the world, guys. So literally what I have now is like what I call a 2-hour work week, okay? Hour per week talking to the team, hour per week looking at deals, making offers, and everything else is automated and delegated, okay? So the epiphany I had, and this is an important slide, is that even buy and hold can fail to deliver on the lifestyle that you're going for, okay? You've got to design your buy and hold venture the way I did to specifically deliver the lifestyle you are after. If you want to be virtual and work an hour or two a week, you have to build in people into your team and your business that take over those roles that you don't want to be doing. So you're actually doing the day-to-day life that you really say you want, no matter what it takes, okay? You have to put your foot down and demand this from your business. Businesses should fuel your lifestyle, not take away from it, okay? In part 4 of this training, we covered how to get the money for deals, how I personally buy houses without my own money just by making 2 simple phone calls. A lot of you guys are thinking, I'd love to buy houses to create passive income, but I don't have the money. I'm broke. And when I got started, I went to the banks and they were super difficult, right? They wanted a million different documents. It was like cutting off a finger trying to get a loan from the bank. What's your credit score? What's your income history? Tons of documents. They were slow to close. So banks did not work for me. Paying cash didn't work either. That takes forever and it's a super slow path to financial freedom. So for a while I was discouraged. I kind of felt like buy and hold was for those other guys. I didn't buy any rentals. I only did wholesaling because without banks or cash, I just felt like, my hands are tied. I've got to put this goal off. And I passed on so many good deals, guys. It wasn't until I joined a real estate mastermind group that I had this epiphany. In this group, people were discussing all different types of funding, lines of credit, family money, private money. One guy goes, I got $1 million at 6%. I didn't even know what he meant, but I was taking all this notes and my eyes were open and my brain was just working overtime. I left that meeting, went home and studied all these books about investing with other people's money, because that's what these guys in this group were doing. And there was guys in this group with 100 rentals, 150 rentals. One guy had like 220 something. And I had 0, okay? But the fastest way to get anything is to model other people who have already done what it is you're trying to do, okay? So I went home and learned their skill. And that's when this deal came along. The seller wanted 33K, 8K in repairs, 2K in closing costs. So I was going to need 43K to buy it. I didn't have 43K, but I knew about the private money thing. So I called a local investor. I pitched him the deal, sent him the stuff, and he agreed to give me the money to buy this house. He actually agreed to give me 45K. He won 9% and wanted his money back in 12 months. I didn't even know if that was good. I just said, hell yeah, because I knew I was going to get one of my very first rentals through this avenue. I was ecstatic. So my payment to him was going to be $337.50. And so what I did is I bought it with his money, renovated it with his money, and then rented it for $900 a month. I didn't come out of pocket $1. After paying his payment, taxes, insurance, the property manager, budgeting for vacancies and repairs, that one was still netting me over $200 a month in net income with no money out of my own pocket. It's almost $3,000 a year, guys. And my lender was happy too because he loaned 45K against a house worth 75K, right? If I don't pay him what we agreed upon, he gets the house. There's a deed of trust, it's a lien against the property, and he can foreclose on me just the same way a bank can, take that house back that's worth 75 for his loan of only 45 if I were to not make all the interest payments and then pay him back in time. Okay. So what happened to me when that 12 months is over? Well, the options and the things that you would do first is refinance with a traditional bank, 30-year mortgage. You start around month 8 or 9 of the 12 months, getting the things and, getting your ducks in a row to do that. Or option 2, just renew with the same current private lender or a new one. And that's what I did. I found a new guy who charged even better rates and did a longer term. And he bought out guy number 1. And then he now has the loan on the property. Okay. So private money really opens your options up. I want to talk to you guys about why that is. Talking about asset-based versus U-based loans. Okay. U-based loans are what a bank is. Bank loans are U-based. What does that mean? They want to know all about you, okay? What's your credit score? What's your income history? What's your debt? They don't seem to care very much about the actual property itself, which pisses me off because their money is protected by the asset, but they still care about how many times you've used your credit card, right? And it's because they have all these federal guidelines and it's like they're in a chokehold by that stuff and then thus they put you in the same chokehold, okay? Asset-based loans, on the other hand, are what private money loans are. They're based on the asset, not you. They don't care if you have a track record. They don't care about your income. I've never had a private lender ask me how much money I make or tell me, show him my credit score or any of that stuff. They just want to know what the property is worth, and then they'll loan you 60 to 80% of that, okay? Their money is protected by the asset, so that's all they care about, as they should. That's really important, guys, and I hope that lesson hits home with you because you don't have to have money or credit score or good income to find money for deals. You just have to find a good deal where you can buy the whole thing, for 60 to 80% of what it's actually worth. You get a discounted deal, the rest is history. You will find the money for it. So what I learned is that it really is possible to buy houses with no money, no credit. You guys ready to do this now that you know that that's possible? I hope so. So we've gone over a lot in this whole series of training throughout this week. I showed you guys, how to find those cheap rentals, even though I live in a city where the average house is 500K. The number one reason most people fail to ever make their income passive, no matter how much money they own, how many houses they own, and how I buy houses without my own money just by making 2 simple phone calls to my private money lenders. Let me ask you guys a question, okay? I went through that incredibly fast because, it was a recap of the videos that are already up here, right? Did that feel a bit like drinking from the fire hose, or in this case, war garbling from a sprinkler? I know every time I attend a webinar or go to a seminar, I feel the same way and I have a lot of questions. So if it's all right, I want to transition with you guys now and make an offer to you and tell you about a product that I've put together that fills in all the gaps, that answers all the questions, that gets you access to me regularly. You can ask me any question so you don't have anything holding you back from hitting your goal. So if it's cool, I'm going to transition to that now. All right. This is called 12 Houses to Freedom. Why do I say 12 houses? 12 rental properties is the same as making the average American income of $50,000 a year once you factor in the tax benefits. Most people could pay all their bills on 12 houses, okay? So my goal for you is to join us and help you get your first 12 rentals so you never have to trade time for dollars again. And what you guys are gonna get when you sign up for this today is, first of all, our flagship group coaching program, Freedom University. Freedom University is twice weekly group coaching with me. Okay. What we do is I'm going to add you to a closed Facebook group with a small amount of people. Okay. I'm going to go live in there twice a week. All right. One of the calls, I'm going to teach a module from my process. I have a 12-step process to do this, and I'm going to go through that and teach a new one each week. The other call, I'm going to coach one of you. Okay. So literally, you just sign up to get in the list. And then when your turn is up, you're going to join me on Zoom. It's an application. And we're just going to broadcast that to the small group so they can watch the coaching call. But I will be coaching you one-on-one in front of the group. So you're literally getting one-on-one coaching calls with me. And you can do an unlimited amount of those as long as you just get on the list and wait your turn. I will analyze your deals together, make sure you guys are doing good deals. As much Q&A as you need, I am here for you inside of this group, okay? So Freedom University is your chance to interact with me as much as you need so that you get all your questions answered. All the replays, guys, will be uploaded to a membership site. So you'll have replays to every single coaching call that we've done at your fingertips. I'm also going to add you to this group so that you can post questions in between those calls. You don't have to wait for the calls that are on Tuesday and Thursday. And by the way, they're in the afternoons and evenings, okay? And those times can be flexible based upon the feedback I get from the group and what works best for everyone as a whole. But you can also post in this group and ask me questions any time of the week. I'll get back to you probably within 24 hours. So that you can have rapid answers to your questions. Sometimes you might find an opportunity to do a deal on a Saturday or something like that, but the next coaching call isn't until Tuesday. You need a mentor, someone that you can ask those quick questions to just to get you over the hump. I really just want to get you your first rental property so you guys can see the process, okay? So what are you going to be able to get rid of with this coaching program? First of all, any course that just sells you training and peace out. Because really what I'm selling you is my time. Okay. It's not just a course. It is one-on-one interaction and group interaction with me personally. Okay. Which is the best and fastest thing that you can have to get you to where you're trying to go. It's harder to sift through a bunch of training inside of a course and figure out the little nuggets that you need to learn. It's easier to have someone ask you questions and line up those dominoes for you so you go there as fast and efficient as possible and you avoid all mistakes. You're also not going to have to wholesale or flip anymore because I'm teaching you the one model that gets you exactly what you want faster. You're not going to have to spend a ton of money on education because this program is extremely affordable, as you're about to see. You're not going to have to worry about competition or expensive markets because I'm going to teach you how to invest virtually. You're not going to have to talk to sellers like so many other programs advise you to do. I think it's one of the worst parts of real estate investing, and I do not advise that at all. You're also not going to have to piece together all the steps, like I said, because I will line up the dominoes for you. Now, the value of this group coaching is $997. Ignore that number at the bottom. I forgot to change that. This is from an old slide. But the value of Freedom U is $997. Okay. What else could you guys possibly need beyond group coaching to be successful? Well, guys, probably the biggest issue everyone has is money, okay? Getting funding for deals is the number one objection or the number one problem that people have, or just believing they need money to get started, okay? And because of that, I decided to go ahead and put together a Rolodex to help you guys get started so you'll have the money when the deals come along. Having the money, there's just something that gives you a lot of confidence, right? To go out and make offers because you know that if it gets accepted, you have a way to close, okay? So this is my private money vault. This is a list of 10 or 12 rock solid private money lenders, many of which lend all over the United States. Several of them I use personally for a lot of my deals. And I'm literally giving you their names, their emails, their phone numbers, their contact information. So you guys will have access to money, okay? Now, I cannot guarantee that these lenders will loan you money. Of course, there's no way I could do that. But there's a very good chance that some of them will, and you need the practice. You need, when you join our program, to call these people, have conversations with them, see what their terms are, and then see what their process is like. I have so many students that have just told me as soon as they made a call to someone on this list, Their confidence soared and they realized that a lot of this was in their head and it wasn't as hard as they thought it was to actually get money. A lot of it is just the fear of asking for money and being rejected. That's a possibility. It doesn't happen often. It could happen, but you have to get past that if you want to actually find out who's going to give you the money for a deal. Okay. So you guys are going to get access to my lenders when you sign up. How cool is that? Private Money Vault gets you direct access to capital. You can make offers with confidence, knowing you are financially backed. Okay. Jake J, at first, when I started coaching him, he actually was completely averse to using debt at all. He was kind of a Dave Ramsey guy. After working together and explaining some stuff to him, he became open to it. He picked his market, he built his team, and he actually closed on his first property just 1 month ago. He sent me the picture of the big bottle of beer he bought to celebrate it. He's now got 20K in equity and he's making $300 a month in cash flow on his first deal. He also told me that he's seen the process now and he barely needs me anymore to be his coach. And that's the same thing I want for you guys. It's really all about just getting to where he is. That's like 60 to 80% of the game, guys. I promise you. What else could you possibly need? I've given you the group coaching, the private money vault. What else could you guys possibly need to be successful? Well, how about my 2019 and 2020 best markets report? Okay. And this is for the people who don't know what their market is yet. Okay. And you need to research markets on rent to price ratio, economy, population growth and size, vacancy rates, all the things I talked about. Well, I have put 10 really good markets in this report for you to start with when you do your research and you make your decision. These are rock solid markets, going to be for the next couple of years and then some. All right. And they've got the best economies, rent to price ratio, job growth, income growth. So I've done a lot of the work for you, and you definitely need to at least read this report and consider these markets when you make your final decision. Okay. So I don't give this report away for free anywhere currently, but you guys are going to get it when you sign up today. Is that cool? What's the last thing you guys could possibly need? Fearless financing. This is a training I put together to once again address the financing thing. Okay. Because even if you have that list of private money lenders, it's still a confusing world. Financing is something I wish they would have taught us in school, how to, run like interest rates on different types of mortgages and like a balloon versus, 30-year conventional. It's confusing. So this is a bonus training that I put together where I go over every single type of loan there is, like which one to use in every scenario: conventional, commercial, private money, hard money, lines of credit, doing cash out refis, like private money, if I didn't say that one already, right? I also talk about how to move from short-term to long-term loans. That's what I do almost every time. Not a lot of people talk about that, but that is the best strategy to buy a house with none of your own money, pay a little more interest up front, then you move it into a long-term loan, you pay off the short-term lender, and you keep doing that over and over. And that's how I'm growing my portfolio today. Also, how to know a good loan from a bad one. Okay. People do bad loans. They agree to rates that are ridiculous and stuff like that. And so my goal with this training is to take the confusion out of all this different types of lending options for you. So you really need to go through this training when you sign up, just to clear up a lot of the different types of loans and what they're going to look like and which ones you should and shouldn't do. Okay. So you guys are also going to get this bonus training when you sign up. I'm also going to ship you one of these Freedom Artist t-shirts. I've only got enough to ship about 25 people out. So definitely sign up quick if you want one of these. They're pretty sweet. And it's just a way to display your goal, and your mission is to get freedom in your own life. So guys, you're going to get the Freedom U group coaching, the private money vault, access to my lenders, that best markets report, the top 10 markets, the fearless financing training where I go over every type of loan there is just to like clear up the confusion on that, and the Freedom Artist t-shirt. It's literally over $1,800 worth of stuff. Now, I'm not going to charge you $1,818, but if all this did was helped you buy, let's say 5 rentals in the next year, which you're making 18 grand a year in passive income, would that be worth it? Honest question. What if it allowed you to finally quit your job, travel the world, and spend time with your loved ones? Would you pay $1,800 for that? What if it gave you a guaranteed short-term path to becoming wealthy and financially free? Would you pay $1,800 for something like that? When I did come up with the price, I had a couple choices. I was option one, charge a bunch up front. Second option, come up with a small recurring cost so you can test the waters and also to keep you committed and accountable. I couldn't do it for free. I wanted you to have some skin in the game, but I didn't want it to be a cost that was prohibitive, right? So you could see why this would be a really good deal if I only charged 147 a month for the group coaching and I threw in all those bonuses. And I will be charging 97 a month to the general public whenever this offer ends on Friday. But because you are here now, you guys can lock this in at only $47 a month today. 47 bucks a month, guys. And this is like no contract, cancel anytime. You have access to me. You can bug me all you want. You know, I might regret doing this for so cheap, but I am proud to be offering this to you today because I want a lot of you to join, and I don't want this to be restrictive to only a few people. And if you guys are interested, go to myfirst12houses.com to get started. Guys, the average cost of a gym membership in the US is 58 bucks a month, okay? So this is actually cheaper than the cost of a gym membership. And I believe strongly in gym memberships and working out, but like we're talking about getting your freedom back and not having to trade your time for dollars. That's huge. And to be able to get something like that for the cost of a gym membership, to me, is worth 100 times more than that. Now, this Freedom U membership is actually going to shut down on Friday, February the 8th, guys. And when it comes back, which it will at some point, I'm going to make it more expensive without all these awesome bonuses. Okay. So this is a one-time opportunity to lock this in. And you guys are, part of this initial launch. Anytime you join any program through a launch, you get the best deal. So why is it only $47? It's one question I've gotten before. First of all, I want you to be part of my beta group. I want to take a small group of people through my process to get their first rental, then they get 3, then 5, then 10, then 12. And selfishly, once I have those results for you, I'm going to reach out and say, hey, would you mind to, shoot me a quick testimonial video? Could I use it for social proof, right? That helps me reach more people because people don't believe that you can do something without testimonials. So I want like literally 100 testimonial videos, right? More than I have now. And I want to get them to come from this group. So I decided to make a cheap group, so people could join, and I will literally grab you and drag you across the finish line so that you get results. Later, yes, I will probably build and sell a more expensive course, on the back of this. And I had to charge something so you have skin in the game. Free does not work, but I wanted to make it affordable. Okay. So that's why I chose $47. And I really doubt that there will ever be anything this cheap coming from me in the future. So you guys have a couple choices. Your first option, do nothing, close this, move on with your life. It's 100% risk-free, right? Your second option, pony up the small investment today and give this a shot. Guys, if I can't give you your freedom, I definitely don't deserve your money. So my guarantee to you is that if you join our program, you attend the sessions, you ask questions, and you take action, you will get results. But if you sign up and you don't love this for any reason, you can cancel at any time and still keep all of the bonuses. I will not remove your access to any of those bonuses, just as a way to say thank you for trying this out. There's no contracts. This is just month to month, cancel whenever kind of thing, just like a gym membership, right? Brad Hardy says, after joining Brian's program, I was no longer scared because I had a mentor to ask questions to all along the way. I'm just a few months away from quitting my job. Jeff Lai says, I follow Brian's process. To date, I have bought over 12 rental properties. No longer have to worry about wholesaling or flipping houses. I'm spending much more time with family and practically retired at the age of 36. Guys, I want you to imagine that you screwed this up, okay? You joined the program, but you screwed up. You only bought 5 rentals in 2 years, okay? That's 2.5 houses per year. Where would you be? Well, at the end of those 2 years, you'd have $15K a year in passive income, which is $1,250 a month. What could you spend $1,250 a month on, or $15,000 a year, right? What if you screwed it up even worse and you only bought 2 rentals in the next 2 years? 1 house per year, okay? That's probably the slowest pace I've ever heard of anyone going. If you did that, you'd still end up with $6,000 a year in passive income at the end of those 2 years, which is $500 a month that you did not have before. What could you put that money towards? Can you see how even if you screwed this up and you bought only one house a year for the rest of your life, you would still end up doing way better than the average person? Real estate is powerful, guys. So again, to sum this up, what you guys are going to get when you sign up, it's a Freedom University group coaching with me twice a week inside of our Facebook group. I'm going to go live. You guys can ask questions in the comments, and then you can sign up to be coached by me live on the Thursdays, right? And we'll stream that to the group every single week. You got 2 opportunities to be coached. And then we're also going to give you access to our private money lenders, the best markets report, the fearless financing training, and the Freedom Artist t-shirt. At least $1,800 worth of value here, guys. Even that's conservative. You only have to pay $47 a month. You can cancel anytime. There's no contracts. So if you guys want to start, go to myfirst12houses.com. Just fill that out, and you will be in the group. You will get instructions on how to join the Facebook group when the coaching calls are. You'll fill out a little survey so that we know where to send your t-shirt. We know who you are and what your goals are. And then if you have any questions, if you're on the fence a little bit and you have a question, just shoot me an email. My email is down there at the bottom, brian@brianellwood.net. You could also just type your question in the Facebook comments thread down right below this video. I'll be looking at that too, okay? And guys, I really appreciate you watching this video. Again, I don't believe that anyone should have to trade their time for dollars. I believe that people should be able to wake up and go out and live the life they really want to live, and dive into their passions and travel and spend more time with friends and family, and not let money be this thing that's always got them by the neck. That's how most people live. And it's my mission to end that epidemic. I really think it's an epidemic, okay? And it's my mission to end that in the world as much as possible, as much as one man can do. And real estate is one of the easiest and simplest ways to do that. It's available to everyone, okay? No matter if you have money or if you have a reputation, it doesn't matter, right? And so this is your path. This could be the moment that everything turns around for you guys. It's literally $47 a month. You can try this out. You can cancel if you don't like it. Email me if you have questions, brian@brianellwood.net, or type them in the comments down below. And I really can't wait to see you guys in the program. I've got dozens of people that have already been reaching out to me and asking when this is going live so they can sign up. So jump on board, and we will see you guys in the program. And here's to your freedom. Peace. Want more? Download my free course, Fearless Financing, at fearlessfinancing.com. In this free course, you'll learn exactly how you can get the money to buy your next rental property, even if you have no cash, no credit, and no experience.